I'm not gonna cry because I miss her. I think that's kind of the best way, just to see what kind of mood strikes you at the time. Hi friends, how is it the middle of August already? Like honestly, where did the time go? I feel this summer has just flown by. But anyway, here we are, the middle of August, and excuse my hair. I've just taken a bookcase up the stairs, well, with the help of a very kind neighbor, up the stairs in a box. It was really, really heavy, so I have to put it together, but so everything is all kind of disheveled. And anyway, last week, Rob's was away and he's been off on a shoot. And so my aunt came up for a few days, and it was just so wonderful to see her because I haven't seen her in a while. And we kind of had sort of like a girls' weekend in the middle of the week. So we did a lot of things. We went to the South Shore. We kind of had a little day just quiet in the valley. We also went to Halifax, so I'm sharing that with you in this video, and then I'll share you the little mini haul that I picked up in all of our sort of travels. So on Monday we traveled to the South Shore. We intended to go to the beach but wanted to do a little shopping first, and so the first store that we went to I always enjoy looking around in. It was the Blue Magic store in Mahone Bay. It has sort of a touristy coastal vibe on one side of it with some local items and things. And then on the other side, it's more like it has your crystals and rocks and tarot and candles and all of that sort of thing on the other side. But I just love kind of looking around there. And then we went to a few other stores that I somehow lost my footage for. So one of the stores we ended up going to was one of my favorite ones in Mahone Bay, and it's called the Teaser, named after a pirate ship that was sank by the British just out in the water off Mahone Bay. There is so many home decor things in that store and candles. I think I smelled every single candle that they had that day. It also has clothing and puzzles and books, and so many different things. So by this time it was after supper, and so the beach just wasn't happening. So we decided to drive into Lunenburg, and we went to the Grand Banker, which is one of my favorite restaurants. And we both decided, we had a spinach and crab dip, which was absolutely delicious. We had that for an appetizer, and then we each had a lobster roll, which is, I think that had been one of my favorite lobster rolls I've ever had. It was really, really good. So after supper, we just drove home and I think we went for ice cream or something like that at a local spot, and then just watched some shows and played with Penny. But I'll show you a few things I picked up when we were out in Mahone Bay shopping. So one of the stores we went to was Settles and Sea Winds, and it's in this great big old, I guess, storehouse. I don't know what the house was originally. I think maybe it was always a store. But it has a lot of, it has really a lot of quality clothing in it and items for men and women and that. But I just kind of more browse it because it's a little bit more pricier. But I saw this on the way out, this book, and it's called Sweet Ride by Anne Berry. And it's about 4 women embark on a harrowing adventure in 1943, and I believe they do it on bicycles, hence the Sweet Ride. And so they had me at 1943 basically. And so I thought it might be a fun little read. So it is a local author, and so I'm looking very much to reading that. So I picked up that book. In the teaser, it was, I mean, I could have bought half the store. It was so cute, but I just picked up a couple of things. So this first thing I picked up, and I'm trying not to buy too many things because we had to get rid of so much, and I'm still trying to pare down everything. So it really has to have a purpose when it comes into the house. And so I was thinking of Christmas. I picked up this little, I guess it would be a dove, and it just clips onto something. And I love putting little birds in my Christmas tree. And then you would have saw me looking at all of those jams, jellies that they had on, and from the Salt Spring Kitchen Company. And this one stood out to me. It is the raspberry and habanero jelly. So that sounds like something that both my kiddo and Rob is really, really going to enjoy. And I'm thinking about bringing this out someday, that we do like brunch at like on a Saturday morning or something, maybe in the fall, and when we're all together, and make some waffles. And I think they would really, really enjoy that because they like anything spicy. So I picked up that. So those are the only two things I picked up at the teaser. And then the other thing I picked up was from this store called The Cosmic Hippie. What was so funny about this is I purchased this on one of the hottest days of the year this summer. So the irony wasn't lost on me, nor was it lost on the shopkeeper, that of all things for me to purchase in that store, this is what I bought. But I picked up this sweater. I just love the greeny yellow color of it. I thought it'd be so pretty for fall. And they had it on sale for like half price, because originally it would have been like over $100, this sweater. And so I picked this up, and oh gosh, I can't wait. It is a little bit cropped and short, so I'll have to wear it with high-waisted pants, just for my own personal preference. But it's what I like is, I usually, these type of sweaters I can't wear because when they're made with wool, the wool is wonderful. I'm allergic to it. I get really itchy and all of that, so I tend to not be able to. But this feels like it's either made with cotton or a hemp or something like that, and so it's really soft and it's not itchy at all, and it doesn't bother me. So I'm very, very excited that I purchased this. So that's it there. And so that's what I had this day in Mahone Bay. So the next day we drove to Halifax, and we had hoped to actually go here, but they were closed on the Tuesday, so we didn't get to go to the memory lane. So maybe some point we'll get to go. I've been there twice. I just love it, 1940s village. But anyway, tangent. We intended also to go to Bears Lake, to go to Costco and a few stores that were in there. Unfortunately, and you'll find out later, that didn't quite happen, because we were going to go do downtown first and then do that later. So we went downtown and we looked around Kings Pier Vintage, and Maria had never had a donut from Vandal's Donuts before. So we walked down to the waterfront and along like the boardwalk there. They have absolutely delicious donuts. My favorite is the raspberry coconut cream, but it was sadly sold out. So we both ended up trying the lemon meringue, and it was really, really delicious. And I noticed they had churros that they made fresh. So next time, if they still have them, I'll be trying one of those, because I'm a huge churro fan. So after we consumed the donuts, we walked along the waterfront and we checked out a few of the shops, including Mi'kmaq art and jewelry, and all of that sort of store, which was really, really, I loved quite a few of the jewelry pieces in there. So I'll have to go back one day. And then we got to the end and we decided to go into the Maritime Museum of the Atlantic, because I was about 4 or 5 years old from the last time I was ever there, so I wasn't really understanding it. So we decided, let's just go in and check it out, and so that's what we did. And they have a really good display on the Halifax explosion, and then another one that was around the Titanic. They actually have sort of they have a deck chair from the Titanic there. They talk about the whole what happened, and there's actually a point that you can actually walk as if you're walking out on the deck of the Titanic. They kind of have it set up, so it was a nice display. but we didn't have time to actually to see the entire museum. We actually saw only half of it, so the other half we'll have to go do at another time. So as we were just finishing up there, an emergency alert went out on our phones, which was interesting, having everybody stand around you and the phones all go off at once. But there was a wildfire broke out in Bears Lake, right near, not far from the Costco. So they actually ended up having to evacuate Bears Lake. And so we never ended up going to Costco or do any of the stores there. So, but it was very, very scary. And I don't know if it's 100% out now, but it's under control. So it kind of cut our day short in Halifax, but that's okay. So we decided to just go home and we went and grabbed some supper. But I'll show you the couple of things that I did pick up when we were in Halifax. I didn't really buy very much of anything other than the donut, but I did pick up this magnet for the fridge. I like getting magnets when I'm like traveling or on a trip, and even though this was just to Halifax, this is a birch bark canoe. So I picked it up in that store. I can't remember the name of the store, but it's on the waterfront that has all of the Mi'kmaq art, and there's some clothing and jewelry and things like that. And so I just picked up the birch bark canoe to put onto the fridge. I cannot remember how to pronounce this. It's the Mi'kmaq for canoe. She did tell me, and now I forgot. I'm so sorry. So if you know how to pronounce this, please tell me in the comments below how to pronounce canoe in Mi'kmaq. So at the Maritime Museum of the Atlantic, I did have a wee look through their gift shop, and of course I gravitate towards books, and these ones I gravitated towards because it will help with some research that I'm working on for my latest novel. So this one here is The Volunteers. I had this in my Amazon cart as a save for later, but then it ended up being cheaper, I believe. $1 maybe cheaper than Amazon listed it as, I think. So I decided to pick it up there since I was there. And so it's The Volunteers, How Halifax Women Won the Second World War. So I thought that was going to be very interesting to read. It is by Leslie Lowe. And so I picked that up to do some more research from my book. And then to help out too, because we do have, you know, ships involved in my book. These are the convoys of World War II. So I think there is some pictures in here too. Where they go? Well, different pictures. Let's see. There's another one there. Anyway, so I thought this would be quite interesting for research as well. So that's all I picked up. So with Maria's last day visiting, we stayed closer to home, and we just kind of toured in and around the valley. So first in the morning, we went to Berwick and we checked out Wheaton's, which the original store started in Berwick, but I have never been to that one. It's a much larger store. The last time I went to a Wheaton's, it was a very smaller store and it was in the city. So I was actually looking forward to checking it out. They have a mix of like home decor items. They have furniture pieces. They have like kitchen and that type of stuff. And then they also had a restaurant on one side of it. We didn't end up going to the restaurant, but I was really pleasantly surprised that for everything that they had, and that the prices were kind of reasonable. Maybe not quite as cheap as some things you'd pick up at Winners, but sometimes some things were like there was kind of very similarity in some stuff. And then the furniture was a little bit more slightly expensive, but then it was also looked different than everybody else's furniture that you might have in their house. Like, so anyway, I guess you kind of toss up. But I did pick up a few things there. So I did pick up, I was looking for, and sadly this is not going to work, but I was looking for, I have these little brass candlestick holders, but they hold smaller candles than the bases that I have. And so I was trying for the past number of days of this trip, trying to find candles that just had a more narrow like base at the bottom, so I could put the candles in these candlesticks. Because right now I have to like shave everything down. So I was looking for like a more narrow candle. And so I was looking around everywhere and there was just nothing. Either it was too skinny or they were too big. And so then when I was here at Wheaton's, I found these. So these are the remote controlled, like battery operated. So I do have some of these already, but these ones looked narrower on the base, and they are narrower, but they were still too big. I just tried them. So they were still too big for the candlesticks. And so, yeah. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to return these. They said I could, because I said I was trying to find, and I'm going to have to return them. But anyway, it is what it is. I tried. It almost did. I picked up a little mini whisk because my mini whisk broke the other day, and I had to replace it. And so I think this was less than $2. So I said it's not too bad. And I picked up this. They had, so if you know the Rendale designs, they have a beautiful like chinaware, and it's always like animals, and they kind of have this little scruffy quality to all the animals, and I absolutely love that design. I have a lot of their mugs. Actually, I'll show you one of their mugs. Let's see. So this is one of their mugs here, see, and it has like this is like a bunny. See, it has that little scruffy quality to them. Here's the other side of him. And so I love like this brand. It's by Royal Worcester. I probably said that wrong, but it's the Rendale designs, and I love the Rendale designs. I have quite a few of their mugs. I had no space to buy any more pieces, but they did have like stationery too with the designs. And so I picked up this. So this is little Highland Coo. And I thought it was so cute. It was the last one they had. I think it was $3.95, which I think is even cheaper than buying a book market at a bigger bookstore. So I have that to go in amongst all of my books. So I thought it was just so cute. I love Highland cows. I absolutely love them. But anyway, so I picked up that, and that was all I picked up at the Wheaton's. And then we went for lunch at the Union Street Cafe, and it was really, really delicious. It is like one of my favorite spots in the valley. And so every time we are in the area and we need to go somewhere to eat, we usually pick the Union Street because it's really, really good. Right across the street was Bargain Harley's. I don't think I got any shots inside of it, but it's a store that has a little bit of everything, no matter what you're looking for. If you're looking for old tech to go with an old phone and you need an old charger to go with an old phone, you'll probably find it there. If you need like washers to go with something that you're doing, they probably have it there. Paint, they had like everything. At one point they even had furniture. Like I think their furniture's closed now, but there's basically anything. There's like, it's kind of like an overstock store, I guess, a reseller, overstock. What do you call them? I can't think of the name of it, but that's kind of what they are. So they have a little bit of everything there. So we just had a wee look around to see what we could find. I didn't really have anything particular I was looking for. I was just kind of having a browse. I did pick up some Ziploc bags for like $1.88. And the other thing I picked up, because I thought this would be fun, is a calligraphy pen set. So I thought and that was only $1.99. Not too bad for pricing in there. Sometimes they even have like overstock of food and stuff. When I was there the last time, they had a whole bunch of gluten-free pasta, like a lot of gluten-free pasta for like $2 a package. And if you know gluten-free pasta, that is a cheap price because it's usually like $4 something, almost $5 for like a box of pasta. But I did buy some last time and it was good. And they did have pasta this time, but no gluten-free stuff. So anyway, I just gonna put that little bit in there, but that was Bargain Harley's. After Bargain Harley's, we actually drove to Prescott House Museum, and she had never been there. So Prescott House Museum is the home of Charles Prescott, and who's the father of the apple industry for the province of Nova Scotia. So we toured around his house. He's got a grand like Georgian manor house there, and so that's early 1800s it was built. And so it's a beautiful, beautiful home. So I do recommend you checking it out. And it also has a beautiful garden to the side of it as well. Sadly, the poor ground is burnt because we've been in this drought. But anyway, it's absolutely gorgeous place. So I recommend checking it out. So that is my little visit with my aunt. We had so much fun. We didn't have any major plans or like set things in stone of what we wanted to do, and I think that's kind of the best way, just to see what kind of mood strikes you at the time. And I think we all kind of need these days where we kind of get away from everything, get away from the to-do list, and having time with your friends or your family, but not have an agenda or having to worry about getting back at a certain amount of time. I think it's really good for your mental health. I know it was very, very good for mine, and I really enjoyed it because I was really missing her because she lives farther away in the province, so I never really get to see her very often. And so it was very, very, I just absolutely loved having her come to visit. I'm not gonna cry because I miss her already, but yeah, so anyway, it was a wonderful, wonderful visit. So anyway, I'll have more videos coming up. You let me know what you got up to this summer, because the whole summer basically has gone by and everybody's preparing for fall. So let me know what you did this summer, and what you were looking forward to for fall, because I'd love to know. So thank you so much for watching, friends. Stay safe and be well, and I'll see you in the next video.